All right, well, welcome. I'm Dr. Erwin Villiger. I'm the Program Director for the Masters in Professional Studies program here, GIS. And also, of course, we have a certificate program that's part of the program, but I'll be talking about the particulars in a little more detail here. Welcome to Shady Grove campus. This is a campus that is something unique. It's been here for about 10 years now. The university's at Shady Grove 11 years, established in 2000 by the University System of Maryland. It is a collaboration of 9 universities within the university system. Essentially a state-of-the-art program, state-of-the-art campus was established here, and different universities within the University of Maryland system were invited to establish programs here. Why? Principally because Montgomery County is the largest population-wise, one of the wealthiest counties in Maryland, and there was not a public 4-year degree granting institution here in the county. So instead of establishing a University of Maryland, Montgomery County, they established the universities at Shady Grove. And so you have essentially a mix of 9 different universities, a range of programs that are offered here. University of Maryland, Baltimore County is the university that established a GIS program here. Now, what is the University of Maryland, Baltimore County? There's a number of different universities of Maryland. In this case, University of Maryland, Baltimore County is in Catonsville, Maryland. It is an honors university. It's one that focuses on a liberal arts education and close interaction between students and faculty members. The goal is to bring research down to the undergraduate level and to get students interacting with and working with faculty to give them hands-on experience with the kinds of things, the kind of cutting-edge technologies, research, etc., going on at the university. Now, of course, the same applies to the master's programs as well. And in our case, the Master's in Professional Studies falls under the Department of Geography and Environmental Systems. It is a department at the university on the main campus. It has a BS, a Master's of Science, and PhD programs, 15 full-time faculty with new ones being added. It's actually one of the departments that has been tapped for growth at the university. It specializes, the department specializes in environmental systems. It is geography and environmental systems. So environmental issues, human geography, geographic information sciences, and remote sensing. And through a number of research programs, research centers, etc., it has connections with a number of prominent federal agencies, NASA, USGS, etc. And actually is a department and faculty that have been really in some areas in kind of the forefront, cutting edge in geography research and you know, urban environmental research, looking at the urban environment, urban conditions, human condition, etc. Now, the MPS in GIS is a program that is solely located here at Shady Grove. All of the courses are offered here at Shady Grove. All of the faculty are specifically hired to teach within this program. We have something of a different focus from the coursework, the faculty, etc., that are on the main university. Their purpose is research, and so the kinds of GIS and the kinds of geography, remote sensing that they do is very research oriented. What can you do with these tools, essentially? But one of the problems with that approach is that it really doesn't address some of the professional demands out there in the industry for GIS professionals, which are more technical skills and integration of geospatial tools and analytical capabilities, mapping capabilities, etc., into business processes, how organizations are operating, etc. And so those are things that I'm going to touch on in a little bit more detail. Geospatial tools are essentially any tools that use location and the advantage of location to improve our understanding of what's going on in a particular location, of presenting information about what's going on in a particular location. It is used to inform business processes, logistics. There are many, many businesses that use GIS or use these kinds of tools essentially often behind the scenes. You don't really realize it. If you go to a website and it asks you for information, asks you to type in your zip code, you type in your zip code, you're giving it geospatial information, and it can then tailor the information it provides to you based upon your location. Now, add on to that things like GPS systems and iPhones or other smartphones that know where they are, and we start to get into some very interesting and valuable capabilities that all leverage location. The web, the mapping capabilities, certainly like Google Earth and traffic, MapQuest and those kinds of sites are all leveraging location information. What do they require? They require people that understand technology, and they require people that understand location and the power, essentially, of location, geography. I'll use the terms interchangeably: geospatial, geography, and location. Because fundamentally, what geography comes down to in our context is where things are, why are they there, what do they mean, and how do you leverage that information to make smarter business decisions, to improve, say, response to disasters or emergencies, and on and on. A growing deficiency in professionals with geospatial understanding and information system skills. That is, if you go out and look at job requirements for GIS, there has been a decline in the need for geospatial analysts specifically, people that can take this technology, take data sets and find a solution to a problem. And there's been an increasing demand for people that can implement solutions. So I don't want you to just answer this problem. I want you to be able to develop a system that can answer this problem on an ongoing basis with some variables, some different data sets, some slightly different questions, or something like that. And so, and we see that in job requirements. I monitor them on an ongoing basis. You'll see people looking for GIS skills with application development, specific programming languages, web development, database development, etc. That's where the demand is, and unfortunately a lot of academic programs are not meeting those needs. You'll see academic programs teaching geography or teaching GIS that have a course in software development. There may be some that are doing some database, larger database developments, but fundamentally there are not programs that focus on information systems and GIS and the information system side of this technology. Remember, GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems, and so the IS part is a very important element of it. So a new paradigm is required. People that understand geospatial, understand where things, or how to leverage where things are and that kind of information, provide an information systems knowledge and understanding. People that understand how systems are requisitioned, are developed, are implemented, are managed, etc. People with professional skills, business skills, etc., and project management skills. That is the demand. That's what is being required out there in the industry. So we developed a program to deal with those issues and to develop, I'll say, the next generation of GIS professionals, perhaps. Early to mid-career professionals, either those that have an information systems background or knowledge, those that have, are programmers, web developers, database administrators, database developers, etc., or those that have a GIS background and are interested in expanding their technology capabilities, basically. So information systems knowledge, just because you know how to develop a website doesn't mean you know how to develop an effective mapping website. There are things you need to know about geography and geospatial data and spatial data structures, etc., that are fundamental to creating accurate, effective, correct, frankly, mapping systems and capabilities. Or you have that kind of information, you have that kind of background, but you don't have the technical skills that you need. You don't have the skills for website development, for programming with Java, for developing a spatial database in Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server, or something like that. So that's essentially what we're trying to address here. Develop, or an interest in developing transferable skills, platform-independent understanding of the technology, those interested in taking the next step in their professional careers. So, I mean, we have students in the program that have been working with GIS for 15 years, but they realize that what they learned and what they've been doing has not kept up with where this technology is going. So our program is very focused on where this technology is going. And there's been some really cool things, especially with smartphones, that have developed over the last 2 years even, since we started the program, that are unique and interesting and the kinds of things that we're focusing on here. Interested in being prepared for where this technology is going. So what do we have? We have a master's in professional studies. Notice it's not a master's of science, it's not a master's of arts, it's a master's in GIS, professional studies, designed to develop professional skills as well as the technology and technical skills and geospatial skills required in the industry. An applied terminal master's degree focusing on the system side of GIS. I keep emphasizing that aspect. We're not leaving geography behind. If you are a GIS analyst, you are not going to get nothing out of this program. That's a double negative, I know. Even if you are a GIS analyst, there is an awful lot to get out of this program because we teach the GIS, the fundamental GIS skills, and you can take them and apply them to a problem, to an issue that needs resolution using desktop computer and that sort of thing. However, we're focusing on the systems, the developing a computer system, an enterprise system that is capable of doing these things, putting out web services, interacting with other web services out on the web to provide geospatial services, not just an answer to a problem, which is what a lot of kind of ad hoc GIS analysis does. So there's a strong technical skill development, project and program management skills, again addressing the business side of things. Primary goal to develop well-rounded geospatial professionals. Now we also have a graduate certificate for those that are not sure if they're ready for a master's or they want to focus on a specific skill set like application development or database development, etc. The graduate certificate is a subset of the MPS courses. Essentially, instead of 30 credits, you're taking 15 credits. It allows you to focus on one kind of channel: software development, database development, advanced analytical capabilities with spatial statistics and geoprocessing and modeling and that sort of thing. But you can't get kind of the full suite. We do have a number of students that come into the program in the certificate program and then move on to the master's. So that's always, I mean, an option basically. It's, like I said, kind of testing the water. See, am I ready for this? Do I want this? Is this program right for me? You can start off in the certificate, you can finish the certificate, and then move on to the master's. The courses, requirements for the master's degree, there is a range of core requirements. They are, I mean, it is specifically to give you the kind of broad exposure to these technologies. So you have an advanced seminar in GIS, which for those that don't have a background in GIS, it serves as an introduction to the technology and the industry as a whole. One of the things that we do in this class is step back and not just look at the components of a GIS and how to do GIS and those sorts of things. We do address those, but we also look at the broader scope. Key organizations out there, key applications. We have guest lecturers that come in to talk about how this technology is used within their company or industry or agency. We go and do some site visits where in the local area to local government or businesses to get exposure to how they're using these systems and etc. Spatial databases and systems design, that course is taking map data, spatial data, and implementing a database that contains that data. Geoprocessing and spatial analysis. GIS is all well and good, but you want it to be able to answer questions, and you need to understand how to leverage spatial information or geographic or geospatial information to get answers, and that's what that course focuses on. GIS application development. If you're going to be doing software development using these kinds of tools, then you need to be able to program. And in this case, we use JavaScript because it serves well for the individual tools for web development later on, et cetera. I mean, there's many options for software development out there, but where these systems are going, and also I should say in my interest in providing students as deep a knowledge of one programming area as possible. I mean, we could do kind of samplings of all the different systems or environments out there, but I don't think that would serve you well. It's my interest to get you a deep set of skills, and then once you have that, you kind of develop a programming understanding, and picking up additional languages later on or different environments is much easier. So we go as deep as possible with JavaScript in this case. Project management of the enterprise GIS, that's kind of the capstone to the program, and it looks at program management, systems requisition, things like RFP, proposal development, things like that, the kind of the business side of managing a GIS in an organization, in a large organization. GIS 679 is a one-credit seminar course. There are multiples of them, so when I say it's a course, it is as a single course number, one-credit seminar that focuses on specific technologies, specific areas of application, specific industry, for example. We've taught it on geospatial intelligence, humanitarian information systems, a range of topics like that. So we focus on different industry areas or on different technologies. We also teach certain business skills, business leadership, business innovation, strategic planning, things like that. You have to take 679 3 times, 3 different topics. It essentially allows you to select some areas that you might be specifically interested in. Certain technologies like Python scripting for ArcGIS Desktop is one of the seminars that is fairly popular because it is a scripting environment that's well integrated with ArcGIS and kind of the way ESRI is going. Now, 4 elective courses. Of course, you don't have to limit yourself to 4 elective courses. A number of them are excellent courses and very interesting. But to meet the 30 credit requirement for the master's, 4 elective courses, most of them build on one of the core courses. So 771, Advanced Spatial Data Management, builds on spatial database and systems design. Geospatial Web Services and Interoperability actually kind of builds on a couple of them, the application development, the database and systems design, but more specifically focusing on the web environment and developing web services and web capabilities that are interoperable, that can be used by multiple platforms, etc. GIS modeling techniques builds on geoprocessing and spatial analysis. You could say it is automating processes. To some degree that's the case. It's also doing advanced analysis, basically regression analysis, a range. We'll touch on that a little bit more. Spatial statistics also builds on geoprocessing and spatial analysis. Advanced application design is the advanced course going beyond the GIS application development. Data sources, tasking, and acquisition. And we talk about databases and getting data into databases, but what if you need data that doesn't exist? How do you get it? And that's what that course focuses on, and it covers things like remote sensing topics, etc. It also has a fairly strong business component because if you are a company or an organization that's looking for data that doesn't exist, you need to hire a company, contract essentially a company to go and collect that data or acquire it for you. So there is that element to it, a planning element, etc. Advanced spatial data modeling and editing for building really robust, really smart database systems using things like topology. If you have a GIS background, that might mean something to you, but I fundamentally think very robust, very real-world intelligent, essentially, database systems. And then advanced visualization and presentation is taking the things that you've learned here, the analytical capabilities, the spatial statistics, etc., the geospatial web services perhaps, but how do you maximize the visual information content of a map or a data set? And how do you do that on the web? You can put map data out there, but I'm talking about visualization and maximizing information content, the color schemes that you select, ways of developing tools that allow people to slide between different data sets and compare data sets visually and things like that. There's some incredible capabilities out there for doing things with spatial data that you can't do in a database or on the desktop or whatever, in terms of getting information out there and unique ways of presenting it. So that's what that course focuses on. The certificate requirement, as I said, a subset of the master's or the MPS, advanced seminar, the database and application development. Here again, we're giving you a dose, in a sense, of the different core components of the MPS, the different core technologies, and then you select an elective to then focus on. And of course, they're the same as the MPS electives. Now, the courses that we have, one of the things that I've had the pleasure of, frankly, is developing a set of courses that, I wouldn't by any measure consider them unique. Certainly developing a set of courses that are current or forward-leaning in their content. One of the disadvantages of a kind of typical academic program and university department and everything is you get somebody who teaches a course and they teach the same course every year with some modification, but before too long, it doesn't take too long for a course to be 5 years old, 10 years old, or more. And with this technology, that's not good enough. This stuff is changing steadily, and by some measure, certainly rapidly. One of the things that we have the benefit of is developing, based upon current needs, current content, and again, forward-leaning. But we also are trying to stick to the guidance that we get from the industry. The Association of American Geographers and the University Consortium for GIS developed a GIS&T, Geographic Information Science and Technology body of knowledge. If that's not something you've come across, if you do a search for GIS&T body of knowledge, you'll find the reference to it and the main reference pages on the AAG's website. It's a valuable document. It's something that we review in the advanced seminar course. And what it does is it certainly focuses on the body of knowledge, but not only the body of knowledge of GIS and technology, but the core elements of it. And from my perspective, it really sets the stage for the professionalization of the industry as a whole and of GIS professionals. Now, there are programs out there for getting certified as a GIS professional. The Urban and Regional Information Systems, or URISA Association? Yeah, URISA. URISA has established a GIS certificate or certification institute and a process for getting certified as a GIS professional. They did that before the body of knowledge was developed. It's something that really provides the opportunity for examination and I would say more proper certification. But again, that's something that we discuss in the advanced seminar class, giving you that kind of broad exposure to what's going on in the industry. Also, there's been work in another organization, the GIS Workforce Center, Geospatial Technology Competency Models that look at what kind of skill sets are required for particular jobs and job descriptions, etc. And in all of our courses, in their different foci, we really look to ensure that we hit all the important elements of the body of knowledge as well as the key skill sets in the competency models. Broad understanding of the GI system, significant technical skills towards developing GI systems, and then again developing professional skill sets. What does that mean in a course sense? That means doing presentations, doing industry research and generating reports as a result, working in teams to solve problems or develop reports. Some people don't like that, but that's life. You work in teams sometimes in the real world, and not a bad place to start. In terms of the courses that we have running in the fall, next spring, the mix of core courses run in the spring and the fall consistently. And then the elective courses kind of mix up over time. But fundamentally in the fall, the spatial database course sequence starts. In the spring, the application development course sequence starts. We generally run spatial statistics and geospatial web services in the summer. The spatial statistics relies on geoprocessing and spatial analysis. Geospatial web services relies on the GIS and application development. We also run the 679, the seminar courses, pretty much every term, including the winter intersession. We run the business-related ones over January, basically. So it gives you an opportunity, if you want to, come to school twice a week. During 3 weeks in January, you can get one of the one-credit seminar courses taken care of. Now, advanced seminar, I'm going to go through some of the courses and the content of them. It is fundamentally a review of GIS for those that have a background. I always feel that we fill in some gaps that some people may have in their GIS experience previously. One of the things that we do, again, is step back and look at the industry as a whole and the many ways the technology is used. Looking at some of the key organizations, such as the Open Geospatial Consortium, which is focused on open standards and technologies to allow or improve interoperability in the industry. We have a fairly close relationship with them. Technical skills, ArcGIS Desktop, Google Earth, to provide you exposure to those tools and how they work and some of the things you can do working with them. Now, many people come into the program with some background in ESRI software, ArcGIS. I do not consider us an ESRI-centric program. We do use their desktop product for most of the courses where you're doing desktop analysis, in this case here, some mapping and spatial statistics and things like that. But we also use a range of other tools. This is kind of like with the programming language, giving you, if you don't have a background, a consistent platform that is pretty much the most prevalent GIS package out there. So giving you that kind of consistent exposure. But I also, in just about every class, pull in other technologies that are key. Google Earth is one that has certainly had a growing presence out there as an interface with geospatial data sets and web services. But some of the open systems, open software, open databases, et cetera, because you can establish a fully functioning GIS with all open software, no cost from a software perspective. And those kinds of tools are things you need to be aware of because depending on the organization you work for or with, it might be something that's required. A lot of humanitarian organizations, for example, well, ESRI pretty much gives their software away to that industry. But in any case, there are many fairly new, there's a fairly well-established open software and systems community out there, and so some of those technologies we pull into our courses. Spatial database and systems design using ESRI's ArcSDE or Spatial Database Engine and Microsoft SQL. We also touch on Oracle more so in the second class. Spatial databases, what are they? Database design, ER modeling, UML modeling, database models, database development standards, some of the software that you'll be working with, Microsoft Access, ArcGIS, ArcCatalog, Microsoft SQL, and ArcSDE. It is an introduction to spatial databases and developing them. In the latter class, you're doing more systems work and the advanced database implementation, kind of more the enterprise database implementation. Application development, this course runs in the spring. Developing applications that leverage location information, fundamentally. JavaScript and Virtual Earth is used here. That's now Bing Maps, but Microsoft's Virtual Earth. We start the program again in the application development, which is 675, and then you go on to more server-side applications and development And starting this summer, we are using cloud services. So when I say we're kind of forward-leaning and trying to stay abreast with where this technology is going, cloud services is one of the areas, one of the places this is going. Now, what is cloud services? Instead of having our server sitting on a computer in your lab or in your server farm, it's putting it up there somewhere in the cloud, in the internet, essentially. And people being able to access it, you can reach in there, establish services, upload data sets, develop based upon those services and capabilities, and anybody can access them. There's certainly Amazon Cloud Services, which is what we use. It's had some issues recently, but it is where this technology is going, and starting this summer in the Geospatial Web Services class, cloud services are being taught. Come on, there we go. Geoprocessing and spatial analysis, how to take data in a spatial form and leverage the information content of it. So a variety of spatial query and analysis capabilities, building automated processes, geoprocess models, etc. Some scripting introduced there using Python, technical skill development, ArcGIS Desktop, Spatial Analysis, Network Analyst, Model Builder, and scripting. Again, introduced. We do more of that in the seminar course. Advanced Spatial Data Management, the spring course, the carry on to 675. Enterprise Databases, designing, developing, managing, systems balancing, etc. And again, advancing on the skills that you learned in 675. Did I say this is 775, so building on 675. Now, being a GIS person, I guess you could say, I think visually a lot. I solve things spatially and everything, and while this might not make a lot of sense, I'll explain it. This is essentially the range of courses that we have within the program. And I like to think of things, building on certain technologies. The core courses are all bolded. So you see geoprocessing, spatial analysis, GIS application development, spatial database systems design. If you think of GIS as an information system, then you kind of have this arc of knowledge that is required, what I would call the enterprise system of GIS, an arc of knowledge that's required for implementing the system effectively and accurately, and again, the technology involved, etc. So our different courses kind of touch different elements of the enterprise system from the beginning, getting data, analyzing the data, and getting information out of the system, essentially. So getting data, analyzing it, producing results. Our different courses touch on different elements of that, and eventually producing results, which is the web services side of things. The advanced seminar in GIS kind of spans the whole system. Project management of the enterprise GIS spans the whole system. The professional seminars, the one-credit seminars, pick pieces from the system in a sense, or from the business side of things, which is partly the project management course, to focus on those in a kind of concentrated one-credit form. So the courses cover different elements of the system. Some of them span the whole things. The color coding basically tells you which terms they typically fall in, fall, spring, or summer. And the electives mix up, basically, depending on demand and enrollment and those sorts of things, and to ensure that everybody gets exposed to them and has an opportunity to take those that they're interested in. Another way of looking at it, though it's not a hard prerequisite, a number of the core courses, again, in this case, the core courses are outlined in the dashed line. Spatial databases, a number of courses build on the spatial databases course. Geoprocessing and spatial analysis, a number of them build on that course. If you're going to implement GIS applications, well, what are those capabilities going to consist of that you're implementing? Often query and analysis routines or processes that you're automating and embedding into web pages, web services, map services, etc. So again, it's not a hard requirement. You don't have to take geoprocessing and spatial analysis before GIS application development, but if you've had it, or if you're taking it in parallel, then what you're doing and how you're conceptualizing the applications you're developing, they make much more sense. And with that, I think I think that's it. No, yes. The other way of looking at the schedule as a matrix. The courses for 2011, 2012, as they are tentatively scheduled, the green boxes essentially saying what terms they will fall in. Starting with the fall, I presume, given that inter-session, spring and summer. Summer is starting in a couple weeks, but spring is now past. So now with that, are there any questions?